This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, the red letters say it's me, Alex. The white letters, the name of the show, The Ramble. And here we are coming to you live and direct from New York City. If you're listening to us as we broadcast every night at 10:30 at night, Eastern Daylight Time. And it's good to have you aboard. And, we're kind of changing something up tonight. You know, we started putting Phil on Mondays to join us for these little gatherings. And so I decided maybe I should have somebody from the left side, because he's right wing, do the same thing on, say, Thursdays. And look who we have here, somebody who swore he was never going to be here again. Let me get rid of that person in the waiting room there. Okay. Hello, Robert Natale. How are you?
I've lost my picture. I don't know where you are or
really?
what's going on.
You've lost your picture?
Suddenly my Zoom just went crazy. Can I dial you back? Or?
Yeah, sure, you can do that.
Oh, wait, there we go. There we go.
There we go. Okay. This is the first time we've done this little thing, so I've actually had to change a little something here. I had to add Robert Natale's name to the thing, and I didn't get it in the right place. Now I got it in the right place. Get it up a little bit. There we go. Let me see here. There. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. See?
Hey, in tribute to my good friend Charlie Wallace, I wore a T-shirt tonight.
It may be old, but I got to see I may be old, but I got to see all the cool bands.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it means you're getting a little old, you know?
Oh, yeah. No
I
doubt.
mean, that you're kind of like saying, I don't like the new stuff.
That isn't totally true. What I don't like is pop music that you hear on America's Got Hot On, whatever those shows are called.
Yeah.
I actually go seek out new music once a week. I have a sort of time frame that I like to go seek new music, and there's a lot of good new stuff out there that I listen to regularly.
Like what?
Oh, geez. I mean, I just recently, my son turned me on to a band. He was somewhat of a musician. He turned me on to a band named Tame Impala that I love a great deal, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There are numerous bands out there. The problem is that the music industry isn't what it was back when you and I were kids, you know.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
You know, it's far more difficult for bands to get a foothold these days without the old-fashioned record contracts and such. So
yeah, well, like for instance, who by the way, I got to do something here. You know what I did? How do we spell Natale? Natale. I had IE. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, with a little change here. Boom. Wait a minute. Yeah, there it goes. See? Okay. Now your name is spelled correctly. Excuse me.
It means Christmas in Italian, actually.
Okay. Buon Natale.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, look. So my question to you is: so what are you listening to? What's the new stuff that you've heard that you like?
Again, a band called Tame Impala comes to mind. A band called 07 I love, actually.
What kind of stuff?
Really new.
Yeah.
They're maybe 15 years old, but they're still putting out stuff here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And so things like that. On occasion, I've even dipped into what's known as house music.
Yeah.
Listen, my goal is always, I don't want to be the kind of guy that still listens every single day to the same shit he listened to back in the 60s. That's the goal.
Well, I don't listen to any of my 60s stuff. I really don't. And I don't listen to stuff that's in the 70s. And I don't listen to stuff that's in the 80s or the 90s or the aughts or the 10s or now the 20s.
That just about covers it.
No, I listen to Sinatra. You know?
Sinatra's forbidden in my home, actually.
Why is Sinatra forbidden in your home?
My dad, on the side, used to sing in nightclubs in his younger years, and he constantly put in our heads that if you wanted a voice, don't listen to Sinatra, listen to Nat King Cole.
I disagree.
And when I grew up,
yeah.
I had to agree with him, and I still do.
I disagree. I don't think there was a more perfect interpreter of song than Sinatra. I think that that Nat Cole was a lot of part of his vocal talent was smoking. And if you don't believe me, he used to say to people, "I don't want to quit smoking; it'll change my voice." You know, I think that the how can I put it? I find that I like Cole, but I find that everything that Cole does is exactly like everything else Cole did. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Sinatra kind of changed it up. You know,
and I feel exactly the opposite way. I can't stand that Sinatra just obliterates numbers.
Well, I'll tell
my
you.
way of thinking.
See, I disagree with you. I think I can't. You know, I listen to him constantly. I'll tell you though who was the greatest, and I didn't say this originally. I said that, you know, the greatest of all time was Frank Sinatra, blah, 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 blah. My friend Shecky said, go back and listen to Crosby.
Mm-hmm. I agree with
And
Shecky.
I went back and listened to Crosby and was just blown away. And blown away by the fact that he could sing anything. You could give him a country song, he could sing it. You could give him a religious song, he could sing it. You give him a jazz song, he could sing it. I mean, he could sing anything you put in front of him.
Yep.
So while we're sitting here arguing about Cole versus Sinatra, probably we should give all the props to
he's
to
right there
Crosby.
in my mind. Yeah.
Now, kids, if you're listening to us right now, don't we sound like
falling
two
asleep.
really old farts? Well, he's a young kid compared to me.
Yeah.
Like, how old are you now?
I'll be 71 next month.
Oh, really? That old?
Yeah.
Really? I thought you were at least 80. You look it. Anyway,
Thank you.
no, but kids, we are talking about artists you never heard of. You know, somebody said to me, what was the thing they said to me? You know, that there are kids out there. Okay, I'll give you a good example. There are kids out there who probably right now do not remember or know of John Lennon.
Yes.
Okay? Now that sounds, I know all of you who are listening, you're probably going, what? They don't know who John Lennon is? You gotta remember, John Lennon died how long ago?
Close to 40 years? No.
Is it, well, let's see. He died in, I
Wasn't it
started working in San Francisco. I went back to San Francisco and started working there in 1969. So I think it was 69. Well, wait a minute. Echo, when did John Lennon die?
John Lennon died on December 8, 1980, at the age of
1980. Oh,
I nailed it.
1980. Excuse me. I meant 80. What did I go 69 for? See, I can't. All of it becomes kind of a mishmash.
That's 40 years ago, Alex.
That's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is have a 30-year-old kid, and he doesn't know who John Lennon was.
However,
You know?
I'll tell you this, and it probably surprises you. I have only one child. He's a son who recently turned 33.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a band. In fact, the band was good enough to have played the bitter end over 40 times. They were pretty successful for a time. At
Yeah.
any rate, I got to know his bandmates and a lot of his friends from that same generation. And Alex, you'd be shocked that they would sing Beatle tunes and know them word for word. They would sing Zeppelin. They were wearing Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer t-shirts. They were fascinated by Hendrix, by a lot of the music that came out of the sort of Woodstock
Well, I mean,
era.
look, there are kids today who do go back and listen to the past. As a kid, my father played me a lot of musicians that I didn't grow up with, you know.
Me too.
And he taught me to go back and listen to things before I was born. And so I became fascinated by stuff that was out before I was
Me
born.
too.
And so I got an appreciation for that. However, parents don't inculcate their kids with that kind of thing anymore. But you should know what went on before you were younger. And there's a lot of stuff out there. You know, I always said I love movies. Okay, and everybody says I love movies because I got on my, you know. But they don't really love movies. If you love movies, you will have watched some silent films because they were some of the best films ever made.
Sure.
Now, if I were one of those kids that went, I don't know what goes on before I was born, I would have never seen a silent film, and I would have missed out on some absolutely great films. Films like Sunrise and what was it? What was the film? Oh God, this von Stroheim film. My mind's a blank right now. But I mean, I would miss out on a lot of those films, and I sat down and started watching a lot of silent films and going, I've just missed all this wonderful stuff. So if you go back before you're born and check into that stuff, you're going to find some stuff you're going to be amazed by, you know? And it's going to make you a fuller and richer person, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, I grew up on Glenn Miller. I didn't know who the fuck Glenn Miller was, but my father played him all the time. And so I was familiar with his music. I listened to Benny Goodman. For that matter, I also listened to opera because my dad was an opera buff. And I can't say to you that I listen to opera now in my later years, but I have an appreciation for, you know, for the talent that it took to make some of those.
Well, my father was a working musician. Okay, working musician, and I he's a terrific working musician, and he worked with some of the best over the years. I mean, he played with Nelson Riddle whenever Sinatra would come to town, and he would, you know, he played the opera, he played the ballet. He was a journeyman musician, you know. He'd have violin, will travel, will work any job that comes along, dance bands in San Francisco and so on. But he always taught me to hate opera because he hated opera. He loved the ballet, but he hated opera because he said, I just don't understand why they got to sing everything they can say. You know, he thought it was corny. So I never got an appreciation for opera because I was just told, opera sucks. Let's go. They take me to the ballet, right? Now that's good, you know. So, my father taught me a lot about music and I think gave me a pretty good ear for music. You know, I have perfect pitch when I sing. I don't do clams, you know. I'm not a great singer, but if I'm going to sing, I don't sing out of tune, you know. So anyway, that was that. Hey, listen, I'm going to take up, what?
The only music that was really taboo in my household was country. My father always used to joke that if you played a country song backward, the guy's car would start up and his dog came home. Or
That's the old
something
joke.
like that.
You know something? I would have agreed with you until one day I realized, I said, hey, I've got my little iPod, and when a song comes on my iPod or my iPhone, what do I stop and listen to? And I found that I loved country music without knowing it. That I really loved some of the stuff that was being done, you know. I love bluegrass, you know. I loved the people like the Dixie Chicks I thought were extraordinary. And I find that I listened to that stuff. So all of a sudden I realized I'm actually a bigger fan of country than I ever thought I was. Anyway, I got something for you. Robert is doing this way, and I hope he doesn't do it for that long and comes back to the main body of the show, only because I have these other people also that go on like Bubbles and so on and so forth. But the reason he's on, well, explain why. I'm by himself. Explain why. You felt hurt, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know that hurt's the word. I mean, there were three I thought there were three things that occurred, and I'll go over them briefly. Phil and I,
And please, folks, don't think he's a whiny bitch. Okay, go ahead.
Phil and I kind of had a run-in when I returned to the show, and look, I was more disappointed than I was hurt. I think him resorting to name calling was unwarranted.
Mm-hmm.
I go back to this. When he and I had we would go back and forth politically, but when we had our little wager about the election,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a cool idea to offer him an olive branch and offer not to accept the winnings and have them donated in Ronnie's name, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my little way of just offering an olive branch by way of saying, look, I'm not going to lord this over you for the rest of your life.
Right, exactly.
It was all in fun,
Mm-hmm.
but, I hoped we were going to get past that and have it be like not something that constantly got brought up. So I guess when he started with the name calling, I was more disappointed because I know in my heart that he's a better person than that.
Well, he actually is, and I
believe that. I actually
and
like him on a personal level. I do.
Yeah.
The incident where the next night Tony started name calling, I would just like to say this directly to him, and that is, Tony, I'm an Italian American. Nobody understands the relationship between a mother and son in an Italian American household like I do.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay close attention, I don't do the wallpaper behind me. I don't make the wallpaper jokes. I don't make the how you made your living taking care of your mother jokes. I just don't, because I never, and I'm not criticizing those.
I do.
Well,
yeah.
I don't criticize those that do. To me, it was sacred ground, and I just don't feel comfortable doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When I have the transcript here of what I said to Alex in our personal chat, and somehow Tony got the idea that I wrote you to tell you that I tried to call in but couldn't because Tony said this or Tony was doing that. That wasn't the case. I have the transcript.
No,
here.
in fact, I don't think that's what I said. I said that you didn't call in because you listened to it and it wasn't serious and it wasn't, and you heard Tony doing a few things and a few other people doing a few things. You just didn't feel like calling in.
First things first, I wrote you to say hello. I didn't write you to tell you why I didn't call in. That would have been stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote you to say hello and to say that I could be calling in the near future because an assignment that I was working on was coming to an end. And all I said was, in fact, I was going to call the other night, but the show felt like I would have been jumping on a 60-mile-an-hour train.
Okay, all right. I absolutely would agree with you because I remember the night you were referring to.
Yes, but I didn't mention anyone by name because it wasn't about anyone by name.
We've gotten
it
Tony.
Was simply, the show was doing well enough, and I would have jumped in, and I probably would have sat there and not kept pace. So, Tone, if you thought I ever said anything about your mom or about you and your mom, I feel badly, but I know in my heart. I'll be beginning on you.
No, you didn't. I don't know.
I'll swear on my mother's head that didn't happen.
Okay.
It wasn't about.
But you said to me when I was talking to you the other day that all it takes to come back on the show is an apology from Tony.
I don't need an apology from Tony. I just need sort of like him to nod his head and make me understand that he appreciates that it was never my intent to hurt him.
Yeah, right. Now listen to last night's show.
I did.
Oh, you did. Well, let me just play it for the audience. You'll just hear the audio. Okay, here we go.
Who's going to be on the show tomorrow? I sort of caught part of that.
Oh, Bob Natale.
Robert Natale. Okay.
Robert Natale's going to be here tomorrow. Then he doesn't have to be assaulted by Tony. No, don't start, Tony. Don't start, Tony.
I apologize.
You apologize to him?
No, to you. Remember I said I was.
Would you
gonna say-
apologize to him? It
Yes,
would
I'm
mean a
sorry.
lot to him. What?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Say it. Say
It
it.
wasn't
Say it.
Tony. It was Phil that he
Say
got
it.
at.
Hold on a second. Say I apologize
I apologize
for what you said about Bob Natale.
for what I
Okay,
forgot what I said.
I'll tell him that
That-
tomorrow night
that was
because that's
Phil.
what he
It wasn't
wants.
Tony.
Okay. So that was
Tony, let's go sit over a sambuca. We'll find out we have more in common than not. I do want to leave though with this one.
Probably you will find you have nothing in common with Tony, because I don't have anything in common with Tony.
I find him to be a good guy.
Yeah.
The third thing that happened on that same second night
Yeah.
was an individual on the show. I mean, this was a source of great laughter in my house. Someone on the show, no names mentioned, called me a backstabber after I left the show. I can't write shit funnier than that. I really can't write shit funnier than that.
Yeah. But, I mean, I hope you will become part of the program again. But, as long as you want to keep doing this, we will. But I'm going to have to start cutting down on some other people in order to do it. So
let's do one more and then I'll jump in.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, I just wanted to solve the problem between you and Tony, and it was solved actually last night.
I sure hope so. I have no ill will toward Tony, and I hope he doesn't have ill will toward me.
Yeah. And
hey, I got one topic for your show tonight.
Oh, okay.
I was reading that the drought out west in the western United States is so bad. How bad is it? They actually found, I thought this was phenomenal. They found the wreckage of a plane at the bottom of a lake in California that had been missing since 1986. That was in the Times. I didn't make this shit up.
Well, you can't make that shit up. But,
no.
Yeah. It's pretty bad out there.
Yeah.
It's getting lousy.
And this could be a thing. Like this might not just be temporary.
Just like a lot of things. I don't think that COVID is temporary.
Yeah, neither do I.
I think it's going to keep mutating and mutating and mutating and mutating, and we're going to have to be one step ahead of it, you know. But, I mean, people are, how dumb are people? They're not getting their shots. And then those states where they're not getting their shots, they're dying like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Did you get a chance to watch the clip I sent you?
Yes, I did. Let's talk about that a minute. This weekend, Donald Trump held a rally. Where was it, in Vermont or
in Ohio?
In Ohio.
Yeah,
okay.
You can look up the YouTube. It's Brian Williams. Trump. I forget how Trump does a rally and people walk out of the rally in rows.
This is what's happening. To begin with, not a lot of people showed up.
No.
Not compared to most Trump rallies.
No.
Right? So then he goes, he starts giving his speech, and then he starts going after the same old things.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start showing the audience. And they're leaving in droves because he's
But the thing is, he's reading the teleprompter, and because it's Ohio, he wants to throw a prop to Neil Armstrong.
Yes.
What he means to say is that a brave young man from Ohio went and planted a flag on the moon, but he doesn't. He says a brave young man from Ohio goes to a plant. It's like, what?
I think he was reading his teleprompter, but he wasn't reading it well.
No, he rarely does. He struggles with
Probably
that.
Whoever wrote it said planted a flag on another planet or something like that, and he saw it as plant. I watched that, and I said, but the stuff before it, we tamed the West. That was one of his things.
Yeah, that was good too.
And then we fought the Taliban or something like that.
Yeah.
Two things that just have nothing to do with each other. The man is just grasping at straws.
Well, what I thought was hysterical was Brian Williams saying he went to a plant like a rhododendron or a philodendron or any kind of dendron.
Well, then he said, you should think of yourself as just being, like somebody who's doing summer stock now. He's no longer a big actor, so you do dinner theater.
Yeah.
It's kind of what he's
ending.
doing. A sad ending. And you know what he's doing next? What Trump's doing next? They have a big WMA match out in Las Vegas or something, and the guy who is one of the fighters invited Trump to come to it, and so he's going to go there, and other people are going to be there, like the Kardashians are going to be there, and
It's
a
fitting,
whole
right?
bunch of people. Not because Trump's going to be there, but because they were going anyway.
Yeah.
And so Trump is going, and people are wondering, he's going to Nevada. And this is a state that he has vilified for not voting for him and to having them recount ballots and things like that. And they're just wondering whether he's going to get booed. And he doesn't like to go anywhere where he gets booed. He always goes someplace where the crowd is pretty well vetted.
Well,
You
I
know.
thought the clip I sent you was very telling at the end of the clip, watching people while he's speaking, leaving in droves. Now, that isn't to say that people still don't support him, but what I think it does say is that the fire is somewhat diminished, like that his popularity is eroded to a large extent.
Well, it's like I've always said, people are big stars until their series is canceled.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden they're not stars anymore.
yeah.
They were only stars when they were on a hit TV show, but now that it's no longer on the air,
Yeah.
where are they? I don't have no idea what they're doing. You know,
See Eric Estrada.
yeah, a good example. I mean, some of them do make it, but what I'm saying is
Yeah,
that your
sure.
popularity is based upon your presence in the media. He has not been present in the media now for 6 months,
That's right.
and people are oddly enough kind of forgetting about him, losing their passion for him.
American attention span
you know.
isn't wonderful.
I mean, maybe they like what he represented. Although,
Mm-hmm.
how can you like what he represented? What was that all about?
Far be it from me.
But anyway, so your life's going okay? Your health is good?
Yeah. I'll be honest, COVID didn't really affect me because my interests are very cerebral mostly. So it affected my wife greatly. She's the type likes to get out and so on. Not so much me. I
Well,
read a great deal. So
My wife is so social. How social is she? She's so social that I've had, every morning I wake up, I don't know why, but I wake up with some kind of negative thought, like, is this the day I'm going to die, or how many more years do I have to live, or that's the way it's been lately when I wake up in the morning. And the other morning I woke up and I thought, if she goes before me, I won't have anybody to talk to. Except,
you have my number, Alex.
I have your number, but I mean, basically, outside of my friend Shecky, I have no friends. Where if I die tomorrow, she's got all these girlfriends and
Yeah.
stuff that she can associate with.
I'm a lot the same way.
Well, I'm not the most social human being.
Nor am I.
You
I
could
have
find.
close friends
Yeah.
and lots of acquaintances that I really don't stay in touch with all that greatly. So
Yeah.
I'm very much to myself, and I'm very cerebral in my pursuits. And so COVID really, in effect, didn't bother me much at all.
Yeah, well, during COVID, I just stayed indoors and didn't see anybody, and that's pretty much the way my life is anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish it were better than that, but
Yeah, at times I do as well.
anyway, I'm going to call this quits so we can go
Sure.
talk to our citizen panel.
It was great talking to you.
And it's a delight talking to you. I was so disappointed in thinking that you would never call the show again.
And so was I.
So I had to figure out some way to get you back into it.
And you did a great job of it. I appreciate the extension of this offer. And
And let's
I'll
do it
be-
again
I'll
next
be
Thursday.
back.
Let's do it again next Thursday.
okay.
Okay, and then
Okay.
after that, we'll see what you want to do.
Hey, best to Trucker Steve. I want to offer my best to him.
Yes, we didn't hear from him last night, so I'm kind of worried about him.
Right,
But Trucker
right.
Steve, if you're out there, you're listening, you might just give us a quick call just to say you're okay.
I'm thinking about you, buds.
Look, any of us who have faced any kind of illness
Yep.
understand what that's all about.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here.
Be well, Alex.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. That's our friend and compatriot Robert Natali, who this was the way I could get him on the show. Okay, so I'm so happy that we were able to accommodate it and do it. And how do you like the new background I got here? There's the where is it? Oh, there it is. There's the Chrysler Building right there. I can't find the what do you call it? The Empire State Building. I don't think it's in that shot. And here's one of these big, tall buildings they're now building. These, I call them pencil buildings. And they're kind of ugly. But that's just me. That may be the new skyline of New York, and it'll be wonderful. Anyway, let's bring in the citizen panel. What we have here, we only have a handful of people to start out with, but who knows? We may get more as time goes on. There they are. There's Brian Neary, and there's Alan, and there's Charlie Wallace, and here comes Jeffrey Stein. He'll be joining us shortly. And, folks, if you've never called this program before, you can call. Simply go to gabnet.net, GABNET.net. Okay. And just over on the right-hand side in the middle of the page, the right-hand column, it says click here to Zoom. You just click that, and it'll put you here, and you'll be part of the citizen panel. Very simple to do. John Larkin is coming in. We had the usual suspects tonight. Although were you here last night, Brian? I don't think so. What? Wait a minute. I got to turn it.
I was not in a good mood. I was doing some parenting, and I was listening to the show, and you guys are going on and on and on, and sometimes, you just don't want to hop on because things are flowing, and you sort of, I wasn't in a good mood, so I listened a little bit.
Wait a minute, you weren't in good mood, but you said you were parenting. Did the two have something to do with each other?
Yes, of course. I'm so nice. I give my kids ultimatums.
Yeah.
I told Adrian, either you're going to eat your dinner, or you're going to be crying yourself to sleep tonight.
You're going to eat your dinner, you're going to be crying yourself to sleep.
So does that mean you take her phone from her?
No.
No, what does that threat mean exactly?
That means that she doesn't eat because she's watching or something, that she gets yelled at, and I just say go to your room because she's not eating. So she's just, typical kids, they snack too much during the day. So
yeah,
cut all those off today and eat dinner.
Oh, I see. It was the snacking during the day that filled her up.
Yeah, a little here, a little there, and kid, their stomach's so small. So.
Yeah, and what was she feeding herself with? Candy?
No, like yogurt, yogurt things, the yogurt sticks, and all those.
If I were a parent, I don't know about you, but if I were a parent, who am I to speak? I never had any kids, but if I were a parent, I think I would not let my kids have sugar.
Yeah, our kids don't have any sodas. So like Coca-Cola, see, Charlie, you're a bad influence.
Yeah, but you can give them diet soda.
No, they don't have any soda.
They don't have any soda at all. Why?
We have water, and then we have like winter melon tea,
what about this? This is like sparkling ice water. It's just water.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But
not
flavored
the sugary
water
stuff or Gatorade. The all the sugar stuff. So we've had a lot of those health days at our company, and they have the health day, and they have all the sodas lined up, and they have the little bags of sugar for each one.
to show how bad it is.
Yeah. So I haven't had soda. Well, I've had soda like a vodka, Coke or something like that. But 2009 is when I stopped drinking sodas like Cokes and all that stuff.
I don't think I put sugar in my system for at least maybe 5-6 years.
No wonder you're so cranky.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, but the Coke, you put a lot of Coke in your body for those last years.
I put a lot of Coke in my body, but it wasn't the soda.
Yeah, that one goes up in us.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question tonight?
Sure.
So like the last 2 days, man, a lot talking about mental illness stuff. Mm-hmm. Last 2 days, I've shown you guys the view. We have a sidewalk across the street, and it sort of goes up a little ramp, and then there's the fence, and then there's a little track that goes around that area, and then there's all the soccer fields for the school.
Yeah.
So there's been an older gentleman. The first day, like 3 days ago, he was like raking that walking area, And now the last 2 days, I've seen him for hours going out there and gardening. I mean, like on his sitting down with a rake and with stuff and like with his hands and getting up the stuff. Really bizarre. So, I mean, I know, something's wrong with him. But, what do we do about stuff like that? I mean, I really want to go up and talk to him and see what's going on. But, it's just one of those things where you never know how someone's going to react. And I don't know if anybody else has had those kind of instances happen. But I know he's going to be out there tomorrow. And he's just sitting in his little spot and he's cutting the lawn and cutting all the little weeds out there. And for hours.
And using this equipment that makes noise.
Yeah, he had a blower. He had the
blower
little stuff that he was using, and a little rake, and then he had a little blower. And he's just working on these little sections.
I want to know. Explain to me what a blower does. Because you mowed your lawn, and you've clipped your clippings, and now you've got this blower. But where are you blowing the stuff to?
Like on the lawn.
I mean.
Next door neighbor's lawn.
I guess you just want. I guess you want to do the blower along like concrete and stuff to clean it off.
I mean, Larkin, you see that stuff all the time. And I've been in the Tenderloin area when I used to go to Ruby Sky all the time, and there are actually some homeless people that I knew because they used to always be there.
I'm wondering if there isn't something you could do to like get even with him. I'm the kind that wants to get even. Okay.
With who?
Huh?
With who? No, this guy's doing gardening. He's not there. Mentally, he's just sitting there for hours, sitting on his butt, like gardening stuff.
So he's not hurting anything. Why bother him?
Yeah.
Well, because the noise is starting to get to him.
No, not the noise. It's just seeing that that person's not well.
But he's not hurting
Well,
anything.
look, we're all crazy. He's crazy in his own way. But you're crazy. You're crazy with cars. Right?
And your pinched nerve.
Well, forget that. That's another problem.
That's getting old. That's hanging out with you guys too much.
Just have
Starting
a
to have
conversation
symptoms.
with them.
Huh?
Just have a conversation with them. See
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I like your garden.
Do it from a safe distance, Brian.
Yeah.
Somewhere
I'll be out
where,
there beside the fence.
somewhere where you can't get attacked with one of his yard tools.
Yeah. So I mean, I just don't. I think it's just he may be a little nutty that way. So what can I say?
Getting older, getting lonely.
Maybe the guy is a gardener for the school district and retired or something and wants to still do
No, but what he's saying is it's almost a mania with him, right? He's doing it like 8 hours a day or something.
Yeah. No, it's something mentally. Yeah. It's not.
Is he?
I'm gonna talk to him and I'm gonna ask him. Say, hey, did you hear about Alex Bennett? Have you ever heard of Alex Bennett?
No, but let me ask you this though.
You guys gonna say that's why I'm crazy?
My question is, does he is he meticulous in what he does? In other words, he manicures everything and he goes back.
And he looked. Yeah.
He's probably where gardening is concerned, he's obsessive compulsive.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to say to him? You can't say anything to him. Hey, I think you should seek medical help.
You could offer him a bottle of water to break the ice and, so to speak, and start a conversation if he wants to talk.
See if he'll come into my yard.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that maybe you get your yard done cheaply.
See?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Now we know your motive here, Brian.
Last weekend, I saw a guy arguing with a guardrail.
What?
I was at the corner, and there's the guardrail going around, and this sort of sinks in, and he's sitting there talking to the guardrail.
Well, I'll tell you, COVID has caused a lot of problems. Oh, man, that's incredible. That's incredible.
I want to know if the guardrail was talking back to him.
Yeah. Well, gee.
Wow, that's interesting.
Where is everybody now? We only got 5 people here. I say only 5 people. Some people will be happy to have that many, but it's just been very quiet this week. I think once we pass July 4th, it gets quiet for a while. Always has. By the way, Charlie, Texas, a lot of things happening in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Your infection rate is jumping.
Yep.
Be-
Surprise.
huh?
It's a surprise.
Well, I mean, it's going up because number one, the variant, the Delta variant, is in play,
Yep.
and Texas is not heavily vaccinated.
No, Austin is, but rest of Texas, no.
No, wow. And then they also isn't your assembly or legislature or whatever trying to pass voting rules?
Yeah. Abbott is calling a special session.
Mm-hmm.
The legislature ended for 2 years last May,
Mm-hmm.
but he's calling a special session so they can come back and pass all these voter restriction laws.
That he wants passed.
Yeah.
What are some of those restrictions?
Well-
You can't be a Democrat.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And
No
they,
voting on Sunday.
And they
Against
can
the
change
black
votes
church.
after it's all over.
What'd you say?
They can change the votes after it's all over, and
Yeah,
Well,
that's one of
I'll
the
tell you
things.
something. When you say no voting on Sunday, Sunday should be the day we vote. So everybody has a chance to go vote and doesn't have to go to work and
Yeah.
and give up work. You know.
Oh yeah, the black churches, that's what they do. Everybody goes to church, and then when church gets out, they have the buses and they.
Well, I think
Drive up to the
I think we
poll.
just figured out the reason why they don't want voting on
Yeah.
Sunday. You know.
Exactly.
I mean, I've often felt that we should have one day. You know, they've talked about if we could, I think, make every month a 30-day month if we just took one day and didn't make it anything. Okay, and then what we should do on that day is that should be voting day, and we should encourage everybody on that day to go vote. You know, but. I don't know. It's just amazing to me that the people are trying to inhibit people from voting rather than encourage them to vote. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. We've always talked about, hey, go out and vote. Make sure you vote. It's good for you to vote, and they made it easier and easier for you to vote. Oh, well, that's good. It's not bad. You know.
Well, we just had a pretty big earthquake
When? Just this moment?
just now. I didn't feel it, but apparently it was a 6.2 in Stockton.
What?
Wow.
There's another one earlier. Yeah, a couple hours ago there was one
I
too.
didn't
I
feel
saw
any-
one this afternoon. Yeah.
Uh-oh, we lost Alan. Maybe he got hurt in there.
Oh, wait. I take that back. This was 4 hours ago.
Yeah, I told you, 4 hours ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
But
earlier.
we just lost Alan. Maybe there was another one out there. Well, he's out near. He's in.
Alan kept texting me saying, "Is Alex okay? He was only on the show for 21 seconds last night." You know, last night he texted me when you were out. He kept texting
Hey,
me. "Is
when
Alex
when
okay?"
all of a sudden I go on for 21 seconds and then I'm not on anymore, it doesn't mean I drop dead.
I know.
Okay?
I kept saying he's okay. I just saw him for 21 seconds. He goes, but I just hope he's okay.
In fact, that 21 seconds was during the period of time when we run ads at the beginning of the show or promos at the beginning of the show, and those are all on automatic. Okay, I could go out to the kitchen and come back, and those things would still be playing in the order I set them up to play. So, I mean, all of a sudden people were worried. Is something wrong with Alex?
Oh my
No,
God.
what's wrong is I pushed the wrong button at one point and didn't realize I had taken my streaming of the show off. And it's not like a big red light goes on here or something when it turns off or whatever. So whatever. Alan is coming back. Shall we let him back in?
I'm going to message him. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Here he comes. Here he
You
comes.
remember?
Wait a minute.
I
Alan,
thought you were-
Alan, are you okay?
Alan, you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
My computer. No, it wasn't you. It's my computer rebooted.
Of the show on.
No, my,
And
Well, who's got the audio going? I think you got
Oh.
the audio from the show going.
off or whatever.
Hear it?
Alan does.
Alan,
Yeah, we didn't have it till he came
Alan,
I'm gonna
can,
message
can
him.
you hear me, Alan?
I hear you fine, Alex.
Yeah, well, why don't you turn down the audio from your browser?
You okay?
Alan, you okay?
Hey, and you know that 21 seconds? I was just glad you didn't start picking your nose or something. Remember Benny Hill? Remember Benny Hill? They used to do that thing, the news, and then they'd come back to the news and had have some girl on his lap or something.
The worst part was that the first 21 seconds was a picture of me because I had the wrong thing up. And so, yeah, so maybe it's when I took my picture off and went to the Gabnet logo that it changed something. I don't know what it is.
Zoom had an update just now, I guess, and was nice enough to reboot my computer for me in the middle of a Zoom meeting.
Well, you know, you can prevent that from happening. You know, I hate. Well, I'll tell you, that's what I hate about Microsoft Windows.
Absolutely.
You have a Windows machine? Yeah,
Windows,
it automatically
Windows.
decides, hey, you know, it's time for you to update this thing. We're going to reboot your machine. It doesn't ask you first, hey, are you doing anything right now?
Windows 7 used to ask you.
Hey, you know who I've had it with? Let me gripe. I love to be able to gripe here. Here's the deal. I have had a problem. Amazon has started their own delivery service, and every time they deliver, 8 times in the last 2 months, the package they said was delivered, and then it wasn't here, and it never got delivered. And every time I complained to Amazon, remember in the old days with Amazon, if you didn't get a package, they said, oh, well, we're sorry about that it didn't get there. Did you look everywhere? Yeah, I looked everywhere. Well, listen, we'll send you a new one, and if the other one comes, just be our guest, you know? Okay, fine. Now they tell you, well, you know, sometimes they mark things as being delivered when they weren't delivered, and we ask you to wait for 24 hours. But I've had to do, and then after 24 hours, call us back and ask for your refund or whatever. And I'm going, wait a minute, I got to make a second call? You can't just, you know, let me do it online or something? No. I mean, so today I get a hold of them and I say, this package didn't arrive today. And they gave me the same crap. And they said, we're sorry for the inconvenience. And I wrote them and I said, if you were sorry for the inconvenience, you wouldn't inconvenience me. Well, we're sorry about that. Then there's another one. And I'm suddenly realizing what this person is sending me back in the chat room are a series of pre-programmed responses. So I said, would you mind not responding me with the pre-programmed responses, please, and talk to me directly? We're so sorry for your, and another one sent. And I'm just trying to keep this person on as long as I possibly can. Hell, I'm an old guy. I got nowhere to go. I can waste this person's time. And so I just keep going on and on. No, you don't care about me. If you cared about me, you would give me my refund right now rather than asking me to get a hold of you again tomorrow.
Did it ever occur to you that you're talking to a bot?
No, in this case, I don't think I was talking to a bot. I think I was talking to somebody who had a bunch of pre-programmed templates that they could just, you know, cut and paste and put in there. And response A, response B, so I just kept him going to see how many of these respond. And finally, the person started repeating the responses. And finally they said, well, have a nice day. And they hung up on me. But I tried to see how long I could keep them going. I hate Amazon these days. You know, they're just a pain in the ass. You know, here comes Irv Jackson, star of The Intersection. Fine program that follows
Irv
this one every
Jackson.
night. Yep. Not his real name. But he probably can't hear us yet. Can you hear us, Irv?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I mean, Jack Bishop. Excuse me.
Whatever
Jack
name
Bishop.
I'm using.
Well, no, you've got Irv Jackson on your Zoom.
Well, somebody else did that, and I'm
Well,
trying
here,
to.
hold on a second. I will
Alex,
do
continue.
some magic for you here.
All right. Well, I tried doing it here.
Okay, rename. Let me see here.
Look, see,
Jack
you wanted to use the last name I used in San Francisco, or do you
Bishop.
want to use the last name I used in Dallas, or what?
Wait a minute, here we go. There we go. It's Jack Bishop now. See, I changed it.
It's magic.
See?
Wow.
Hey, I heard you complaining about Amazon. You think you got it bad? There's a company that I've been doing business with for 25 years, ordering things from them. I ordered something more than 2 months ago. And I have been trying to get them to respond because A, never got it, B, got a letter saying you got it, got a letter that said we've checked it, you got it. And I'm going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, isn't
You know, Girls Gone Wild. They've been kind of late, Jack. I think that's what we're talking about.
No, but down here in Texas, it's sheep gone wild, son. Sheep.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, no, but I mean, the thing that gets me about Amazon, I finally said to the person as I was typing stuff in, you used to be a great company, and they were. I mean, I really love doing business with Amazon, but lately, it's like they built a rocket ship or something, and they got to pay for it. Oh, wait a minute, they did. Anyway,
Can I say something about Amazon, Alex?
sure. Well,
You're probably calling a regular customer service number.
no,
So
no,
they're-
I did a
they're-
chat. This was a chat. This one today was a chat.
Oh, okay. So they have a business owners customer service for people that sell stuff, and somebody was nice enough to give me the number. And they call it Amazon Logistics,
Yeah.
and I'll give you the number right on the air.
Well, no. What do I need to call Amazon Logistics for? This thing was
Because you
coming
get
from
good
Amazon. This is
You get really good customer service with them.
Why that? As opposed to just trying to get customer service.
Who the hell knows?
Because your call is very important to us. That's why we're keeping you on the line for the next 20 minutes with endless advertisements.
Yeah. Who the hell
Yeah,
knows?
Charlie.
Yeah, when I order something from Amazon and they say it's delivered, they always show a picture of it sitting on my doorstep.
I get the same
Sometimes,
thing.
not every time. The times it doesn't arrive, there's no picture of it. Only
Oh,
once was there a picture of it, and I could tell what building it was left in. It wasn't left in my building. But that was only one case. All the other times when they say it's been delivered, there's no picture. You know, hey, how
Hey,
you doing?
hello.
And backing out of the room very slowly.
Go have a Coca-Cola. You'll be okay.
You can see somebody never raised
What
kids.
would
don't
you say,
give a
Brian?
fuck
I
this
couldn't. I couldn't hear you, Brian. I think your mic isn't on. Are you on?
Now there we go. Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
okay.
muted because she asked me a question.
Who-
I just said that. Yeah, she wants something. So I said, as long as you say hi to everybody, so that's why she had to say hi.
Who was
See
that?
the control you have, Alex. You have control.
Who was that?
See, I
Was that
told-
was that Adrian?
No, that was
No,
Stephanie.
That was Tiffany, yeah.
That was Tiffany. I thought it was Tiffany.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
His
Oh, that
wife-
was. Oh, I thought it was your wife. Oh, okay. No.
No.
Okay.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Well, she
Charlie.
looks young. She looks like.
She's 13. Come on.
You know, I don't
I
know.
know,
I
but
don't
your
know.
wife
I don't know
looks
the first time that you put Adrian on here, but the pictures you've been sending lately, I've seen her grow up already.
Dude, she passes out, and I have to carry her into her room. She's like 50 or 60 pounds now. Oh my God. Getting old.
Yeah, but
And
I mean,
when you were younger, that was no big deal.
Am I
but now
right?
that
When
you're
you
almost
first showed
50,
her on the program, what was that? A year ago, maybe?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, she's growing like crazy. Yeah.
She's becoming more of a young woman. You know, pretty soon. You
Slow
know,
down.
I'm gonna send you a gift, a baseball bat, so that when the guys start showing up at the front door, you know. Yes, Jack.
Hey, he's got nothing but pain ahead. Nothing but pain.
Well, he kind of has a preview of it because he has two other kids that came with the marriage. And
Yeah.
and one of them is a girl and one of them is a boy. And I
I
think
don't know how you can tell.
and let me ask you this. What's easier, the boys or the girls?
Who you asking?
I'm asking Brian.
I say the boys.
No answer for that.
Really?
My second oldest granddaughter is now 32 years old. And as soon as puberty hit, it was like girls gone wild. And now she's got a 12-year-old of her own.
Oh.
And she called me up a few weeks ago and said, Grandpa, I want to apologize for all the great year that I caused you. And you know what she said? One of these days you're going to have one just like yourself. I got it.
Yeah. But Brian, can you say which one is the most problem in that respect? I mean,
After last night, no.
Because don't you become a little more protective of the girls in the family, and more go get them to the boys?
They all have their quirks, so they all have their quirks.
How about you, Jeff? What did you find when you were raising kids? Did you find the boys were harder or the girls?
Unmute.
Unmute, Jeff. There we go. Jeff, just unmute. There
Yeah,
we go.
okay, I'm on now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I heard a great story about my my sister's granddaughter, who's like 4 years old right now, and she goes to a little class in the afternoon, and I don't know what they do there. They play and dance, and who the heck knows what they do. But there's boys there and other things. And she comes into this, be picked up by her mother. And the first thing she says to her, I didn't do anything bad today.
I didn't do anything.
That's the first thing she said. She says, well, what do you mean? Did you do something bad? Oh, no.
Not today.
Not today. But don't ask me about yesterday.
Well, so she gets a little bag that she carries her stuff, and she takes a look at her bag, opens it up, and there's a note from the teacher.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, okay. And what did she do?
Well, she took something she had. I think it was like a little toy or a little car or something, and hit the other kid in the head with it.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
all right. That'll be cool. She'll turn out to be a serial killer. Anyway,
We'll send her to prison.
yes, Jack.
The 32-year-old I was talking about a little while ago, we raised her from the time she was 4. And we always knew if she came home and said, I was sitting quietly, minding my own business and keeping my hands to myself, we knew something had exploded or whatever. But the best thing she ever did, she was always one of the first kids to figure out technology as opposed to her grandpa. And when she was about the 7th grade...
You've yet to be able to master a light switch.
That's true. That's true. I'm hoping to work my way up to a buggy whip. But we got a thing from the guidance counselor at her middle school. The kid had gone into business for herself. She was offering a service to change the grades on a kid's computer-generated report card.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
And she was getting $20 a head.
Really?
And she could have kept going, but she had a cousin.
Wait a minute, let me ask you this. Wait a minute. Kids today, when they get report cards, see, I don't know this sort of thing. When they get report cards, they're on a computer?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what, your parents have to go onto their computer, go to the school, and get your grades?
Depending on the school district.
Really?
Really, yeah. And the only reason her business failed was she had a cousin in the same school, and her cousin wanted the family discount.
Yeah, they have a thing called Infinite Campus. So you can see your child's every class and what percentage he's getting at that time. And then you click on that and you can see every single assignment. You can see what they got on that assignment and every single test or quiz and what they got on that.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so you see that, you don't even care about the report card that comes in the mail because you've already seen everything there.
Yeah.
If they had that when I was a kid, I would have done a lot better.
If I had they had that when I was a kid, man, I would have been apoplectic. Okay? Because I was bad enough. Look, I was bad enough with tests. Okay? I always hated tests. I always clutched up at tests. I got nervous. My hand shook so much sometimes on tests, I couldn't finish the test because my hand was shaking so much. So I found tests to be just absolutely autocratic or whatever. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Dictatorial. Then years later, I read a article that was written by a very, very learned man called The Tyranny of Testing, in which he made the case that testing was not a good way to find out what kids knew and didn't know, because what you're doing is you're really what you're trying to do is program them to give the answer you want them to give. But there may be several correct answers to that question, some of which may be a little maybe out of the box. And you don't encourage that when you're testing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
One of the failings we have here in the state of Texas, and the schools admit to it, they teach to the test.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's what they do.
No.
Now,
But
what?
like for instance, I mean, I was in college once, and I had a teacher that said to us, "Read this essay in the textbook, and then tomorrow we'll ask questions about it." And so the next day we come in, and the name of the article was "Communism versus Democracy." And the teacher said, "Okay, anybody have a comment about what you read last night?" And I raised my hand. She said, "What is it?" I said, it's completely fallacious to compare communism to democracy, because one is an economic form, and the other, democracy, is a relationship of the government to the people." And she said, "You're wrong. Next." Well, I'm sorry. You can't. There are kids going on for the rest of their lives thinking there's a comparison of communism versus democracy. If you want to say dictatorship versus democracy, if you want to say communism versus capitalism, you'd be correct. But communism, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. She told me to sit down, shut up. You're wrong.
Comparing apples to apples.
Yeah, well, I mean, I decided at that point that I just didn't like how schools were teaching, because what they were doing is they were trying to get me to, if all I did was spit out the answer they want to hear, then everything's fine. Then you're well pre-programmed to go out into our society. But if you put a little thought into most questions, according to Banish Hoffman, who wrote this Tyranny of Testing, there are many correct answers to every question. And we just don't we don't really relish the fact that certain people go outside the box and look for another answer. Mm-hmm. But anyway, back to you guys.
So, if you have a problem with tests and your handshake, get out your iPad when you were a kid. That would solve the problem. Wait, they didn't have iPads.
They didn't have iPads.
I wonder how many of the people on this panel, and I may even carry this over into the intersection, Charlie Wallace, Jeff Stein, myself, Alex certainly, remember when the Pledge of Allegiance changed?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And they put "for God" or something in there.
Under God.
Yeah.
Under God.
And you tell anybody in school today that changed when I was in the 3rd, 4th grade, they go, "It's always been that way." It's always been.
You
that
know
way.
when it changed? And the reason?
Oh, I know the reason. I can't remember the specific time it changed.
President.
No, it wasn't a president necessarily. John Larkin, answer.
No, I didn't have the answer. I was just gonna go ahead.
1954.
Jeff is the answer.
What it was the 50s, and concurrently, do you remember what we had in the 50s?
Sure.
McCarthy.
McCarthyism and the Red Scare.
Right.
Okay. And so consequently, they added that during the Red Scare.
And they added, I think at the same time, that's when we began to see "In God We Trust" on our currency?
No, I think that was always there.
I think that was in the 30s they put that on.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't it say on the money, "In God we trust, all others pay cash"?
You remember? You remember when we used to get underneath our desk when the for the nuclear bomb tests?
Now it's for the earthquake.
Yeah, you used to have to put
No,
your
that
hand,
was for the bombing thing. It was for a bomb.
Yeah, you used to have to get
Second
under your desk and put your hand behind your neck. Okay.
Yeah,
And I often said I often realized years later, I'm sorry, they probably just find some guy dead with his hand around his neck under a desk.
Yeah.
I went to school with
I got slapped around in a public school when I was in 6th grade because I said I'm not getting underneath that desk, and I was only in 6th grade, and there was a male teacher, and he says, "You better get underneath that desk." And I said, "I'm not getting under it because I don't want to be underneath a fucking a desk when a bomb comes and blows up the place." So he slapped me.
Do you want to know the big myth that I heard for years, and this is what you always did when it happened? And you say you just had an earthquake out there in California, right? Did you feel it, by the way, Kevin?
Yep.
Was it big?
2 of them.
Was it big?
It was pretty good. I was sitting in my chair, and it was pretty good. It rocked around a little bit. It was up in Carson, actually, on the Nevada border.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
6.0 downgraded to 6.1 downgraded to 6.
Oh, wow. Downgraded to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually been like 10, supposedly, and they had one just about a half hour, 45 minutes ago up there too.
Yeah. Well, the thing what they always tell you when there was an earthquake, where to stand?
In the doorway.
Yeah. Yeah. Worst idea in the world.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's not going to save you. Get the hell out of the building.
Get in the open.
In the open.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, under the door, well, then the door jamb comes down and kills you.
We used to have earthquake drills at a chemical plant full of gases.
Oh, great!
Wow.
I said the only ER program we had were tennis shoes.
Mhm.
Tennis shoes, because you just start running.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Well, anyway. So, anyway, I'm tired tonight for some reason.
Me too. That's why I got a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Well,
you know what would have been interesting, I think, talking to Robert, is if you had said that he was writing a book.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to know what this book
Well, he
was
wasn't
about.
writing a book. He was writing articles.
Oh, you said a book.
I thought it was a book, but it was articles.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. I was waiting to kind of hear about his book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted to get Robert on the show tonight because I like him, and he feels a little shy about coming on here because of the way he felt assailed. And I told him, don't worry about it. We got Tony to apologize, and I'm sure Phil would be happy to say, hey, I didn't mean anything by it. I mean, Phil's a good enough guy that way. He doesn't want to cause trouble. That's why we've isolated him.
That's why he's in the prison.
What do you think about? Oh, by the way, 2 people made an emergence. Of course, Trump had a rally, as we were talking about over the weekend. What if he held a rally and nobody showed up? Would that be a rally? It looked very sparse, and about halfway through his speech, people were leaving in droves. They had video
They
of
heard it all before.
Huh? They'd heard it all before. They said, "Oh, I've heard this song before. Let's leave."
I
Okay.
think what happened is my roommate was there and he passed gas. That's why
The
everybody left.
burritos you had last night?
What?
Yes, those were good burritos, by the way. They had no beans in them.
No beans in the burrito.
Well, Jack was having the trouble finding the light switch to turn the intersection on last night. So I went and got my beef burritos at my girlfriend. Beef burritos at my girlfriend. I was in the middle of eating one when he came on.
Your girlfriend gives you beef burritos?
Yeah, she makes them.
And she loves you?
Yeah, they're beef, not bean.
No,
yes.
But she loves you, and she's feeding you burritos.
At least we don't have to have cans of orange spray on either side of that.
No offense meant here, but
okay.
shouldn't she be feeding you lint?
Lint?
Yeah. It's not fattening.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. That joke went over like most of yours. I'm sorry. Anyway, what happened to John Larkin?
When I was in Lake Don Pedro last week, we went to a couple coves, and they had Trump people there. They had boats with Trump flags, and they said they have some other new saying now, and they had a big fuck Biden flag, and everybody's just shaking their heads.
Did they sink each other like they did over there in Texas or wherever it was?
No, I don't know. Everybody stayed away from them in the cove. It's pretty funny, but they're still out there and they're still bragging about it. I'm sure down Kevin's way, they'll still be on the overpass, and they're getting ready for his reinstatement in August, right? So
my phone's plugged in. I took a couple pictures the other day. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he's still got a base out there. I know people think maybe it's not 70 million, but there's still a big chunk of people that are loud and proud about it.
Yeah, but I think that slowly but surely, as I said earlier, once you don't have a TV series on anymore, they forget you're an actor, okay? The same thing's true of him not being president. Yeah, there were a lot of people after he lost, fair and square, that made a big stink, and then all of a sudden they're kind of going, I forgot, they're not paying that much attention to Trump.
He's trying to stir up a lawsuit, which is going to be worthless as
well, people have tried that lawsuit with Facebook and those outfits before, and it's never gotten anywhere.
Didn't he mention it's unconstitutional for them to do this for Facebook?
Yes,
and
it has nothing to do with
it. He doesn't know how to spell Constitution.
Facebook, I mean, those are
nothing to do with it.
They have nothing to do
remember
with
who
the
his
Constitution.
attorney is now.
But I still think these guys who are going around still waving their flags are going to still spark up people when it starts coming down to it. I don't think the people who voted for Trump are saying, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for Trump next time."
Yeah.
I think when people start waving the flags again and getting on the freeways again, it's going to spark those same people up.
They never went away down here in Texas.
Exactly.
By the way, did you hear what was Michael Avenatti? Was that his first name, Michael?
Yeah.
Just got sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for
Yeah.
his little extortion deal with Nike.
Yeah.
So
That guy really fell, I mean, when everybody thought he was going to be like the big savior. Remember he was.
Oh, they were talking about him running for president and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went down fast.
Very fast, and by being found guilty, I don't think he can practice law anymore, can he?
I think so.
Gone.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I heard Washington, D.C. jumped on the bandwagon with Giuliani. Like New York, they revoked his Washington, D.C. bar license or something
not his Washington, D.C. bar license. They stopped him from practicing law in the state of New York and his law firm.
He did that in New York, but they also mentioned yesterday Washington, D.C. too.
Yeah, it's been suspended.
But all these guys are going to wind up working a drive-through at Denny's,
Remind me not to go to that Denny's.
Yeah, but
and the Kraken lady, that Kraken attorney, the weird lady that goes on Fox all the time.
Powell. Sidney Powell.
What's her name? Powell, yeah.
Sidney Powell,
Yeah. She has to show up to a sanction hearing for her bullshit that she pulled. So she's going to get sanctioned.
Well, I've got a question. Okay, here's the big one. Let's talk for a moment about Bill Cosby. He has announced that he's going out on tour. Number one, he
Who's gonna
can't
prop him up?
He can't stand up, so it's got to be sit down comedy. Okay, and secondly, he can't see. He's blind.
Is he really?
Yes. And the question is, what's he going to do for an act?
Just sit in a chair and talk.
And talk about, I guess, his time in prison. He's doing a documentary on his life, including his prison years. Well,
Ollie North did that for years.
you're right. You're absolutely right. But I mean, I think in his case, I think he feels, he's always been kind of had a teacher mentality because he became a teacher.
Right.
And I think he thinks he's going to teach people something about his time in prison.
Except Oliver North, without a doubt, was convicted of a crime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so was Cosby, but they found that.
Yeah, but they didn't reverse the charges on Cosby.
Well, his reversal was not based upon innocence, but upon what they considered the illegality of the trial.
Right, beyond a
They
reasonable
were
doubt.
admitting as evidence stuff that he had pled to and agreed to plead to in a civil suit. And you can't take what you said in a civil suit and use it against you in a criminal sanction. And there was a deal made with the district attorney attorney general of the state at that time. And then the new attorney general came in, decided to charge him, didn't check first to see if this deal had been made. And so basically, Cosby got screwed. I mean, I hope somebody gave him drugs first. But,
loosen things up.
Did you have your hand up, Jeff?
Cosby, all of a sudden, I heard him on the TV the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah, and it wasn't him. I mean, it was his old shows.
Oh, his old shows.
Well, all of a sudden they're on. They're being
It's
advertised.
syndication again.
Were they taken off? Yeah.
I think they
I'm
were.
sure they were. I'm sure no station would want to play a Bill
Right.
Cosby show.
Yeah.
But now that this has happened, they put them back on.
In syndication, right?
That's
Yep.
very interesting. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. As well they should have. I don't think they should have taken them off, to be honest with you. I mean, if they were funny before he got found guilty, they're funny afterwards, too. They have nothing to do
Don't they
with...
have to pay him every time they run one of those?
Yeah, less and less and less. And by now, he gets maybe 3 cents every time it's played.
No. Okay.
But 3 cents here, 3 cents there. Pretty soon, you're talking $1.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's...
God damn,
Listen,
you're
that's the
smart,
way. That's
Jack.
the way over the years I've made money off of Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Because of my announcing on comedy tonight on HBO's One Night Stand, and I did the whole first season, and the only one they run now is Bill Maher because he's on HBO. So every year I get a check for $71 for my.
You don't even get cost of living increases?
No, not at all. And I just wish they run some of the other shows. There were better comedians on than Bill Maher. Bill Maher was I've told the story before, but I can tell it to you quickly again because it's worth telling. When we were doing the one night stands, I was doing the warm up for the shows, and then I did the announcing on it. And I was doing the warm up, which was you do a warm up, you tell a few jokes, you get people to applaud, so you can get some applause, get them to laugh a little bit, so you can get some laughs, so that if they have to have some of that in the show that they need, they've got it. You did it. You got the applause and everything. So I told a couple of jokes about things and so on, and they did okay. But I warmed up the crowd. He calls me into his dressing room, and he has the audacity to say to me, "Alex, do you do any political in your opening in your warm-up? And I say, well, yeah, I do a little bit, like, how many here like Clinton? How many here like so-and-so? You know, and everybody applauds or boos or whatever. And I said, so I do that. He says, don't do it. I said, why? He says, I do political. And I said, excuse me, Bill, but I understand you're making $20,000 for this show tonight, and I'm getting $150. I said, all things considered, follow me, motherfucker. And I walked out.
He's a substandard comedian. He's not that great.
He's okay, but he's not great. He's not, you know.
What was that movie he did that was so?
Oh, Cannibal Women, the Cannibal Woman thing.
Yeah.
Cannibal Women of the something Piranha Jungle or something like that.
Didn't that win Academy Awards for Best?
Actually, it wasn't a bad picture, oddly enough. But Amazon Women of the something jungle. I can't remember what the something
Didn't he
was.
do some religious movie too?
What?
Didn't he do a religious movie too?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that was a documentary. But
Yeah.
Adrienne Barbeau was in that movie with the Cannibal Women, and
Oh, that's a winner right there.
Yeah, she's got a nice rack.
Yeah. Well, I interviewed Adrienne Barbeau once, and I said, I've seen you totally naked for an hour. And she said, what?
And I got off 3 times
And
while
I
saw you.
said, yeah, you were doing a show off Broadway called Stag Movie, and in an hour of that that show, you're naked for the entire time on stage. And she says, busted. She had done the
Probably
show.
said, I remember you. You were the one that was drooling right in the front seat.
Oh, I saw this woman. I went, oh, geez, you know, and she's not taking her clothes off. Did I die and do something right? You know,
Really?
I mean, it was amazing. Yes, John.
Yeah, a friend of yours I read in the newspaper passed away yesterday. Did you notice that?
What? Who?
Robert Downey, Senior.
Senior. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the filmmaker. Yeah, you knew. I remember you interviewing him a couple times on Live 105.
I used to have breakfast with him, and he used to bring his little kid along.
Yeah.
And as he grew up, I began to think, was I nice to him? But no, his kid was about 8 years old, I think, at the time. And it was Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, it was Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah, he's the only guy that ever asked me to be in a movie of his, and then he couldn't afford to fly me out to be in it. I was supposed to be in Greaser's Palace, which was one of his.
He's rather doing movies, and he's good at a lot of his movies, Robert Downey Jr., or he's doing time in jail.
But not anymore. Not for the last 20 years. Where have you been?
Fading out. He's all dry now.
Yeah, he's
dry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, that's it. Our show is coming to a close here. Brian Neary, always wonderful to have you there. I always like it when you're not upset and you can come on here. So tell your kids to treat you better, damn it.
Yes.
Yeah. Charlie, great to see you. Jeff, always great to see you. John Larkin, Alan, and of course Kevin, my buddy. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Everybody, why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a wave goodbye back at you, okay? There we go. There they go. And here I am, full screen. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Jack Bishop is next with The Intersection. He'll be here taking your calls on Skype at GabNet Live. I'll be back again. Let's see here. Well, I guess I got to come back and do it. I'm trying to stall here. I've actually gotten off short. We're going to, goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, I'm going to hang up on these people. I forgot to hang up on them. I'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, please, if you haven't been vaccinated, don't be a dope. Go out and get vaccinated, okay? Okay, I'll get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated. And have a nice night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.